for me to invite you all to the National HR Summit at Trade 2024. As Simon Sinek widely said, when people are financially invested, they want a return. When people are emotionally invested, they want to contribute. In the realm of human resources, cultivating an environment that encourages the free flow of talent is essential for achieving the organizational success. With that in mind, I'm excited to invite Synergia, the Human Resources Club at IIFT Delhi, to guide us through today's impactful session and thought-provoking discussions.
Human resources are the architects of an environment where talent can flow. This belief underpins why we gather today to create spaces where leadership is built on talent, vision, and the courage to drive change. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Team Synergia, the HR Club of IIFT Delhi. Synergia embodies this vision. The synergy of collective effort leads to far greater impact than isolated contributions. In the HR domain, we are dedicated to creating an ecosystem where diverse talents, perspectives, and expertise come together to drive organizational success. Our core objective is to cultivate a deeper understanding of human resource management, empowering future HR leaders to not only excel in theory but also implement real world practices that foster lasting value for organizations and society.
This year, the theme of our event is the role of AI in talent acquisition, a timely and a very critical topic in today's business environment. As technology advances, artificial intelligence is reshaping how organizations attract, assess, and hire talent. But with these innovations come important questions as well. How can AI improve the fairness of the recruitment process? What are the ethical considerations when using AI in hiring decisions? Well, we will delve into these questions with insights from our distinguished panelists and experts, exploring the transformative impact AI is having on talent acquisition and workforce. So now, I am honored to introduce our esteemed panelist and moderator, Mr. Swastik Mitra. Sir is currently an assistant manager with the HR transformation and reimagination team of CHRO at EY Global Services, where he focuses on workforce optimization, recruitment reimagination, and AI-driven HR strategies. Previously, Mr. Mitra worked at Deloitte as a management consultant in M&A, specializing in HR strategy and post-merger integration. He also spent nearly 3 years at Larsen and Toubro, leading large-scale infrastructure projects as a senior engineer. With an MBA in HR from MBA Gurgaon and BTech from MIT Durgapur, Mr. Mitra brings a wealth of experience in HR transformation and talent strategy. We are privileged to have you here today, sir. Introducing our next panelist, we have Ms. Pratishtha Arora. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us today. We look forward to gaining insights from you, from our extensive experience and talent. Ms. Arora currently serves as a senior talent acquisition specialist at Google, where she leads senior level recruitment initiatives and drives talent acquisition across various departments. She began her journey at Google as a talent acquisition specialist, enhancing recruitment processes and streamlining strategies in collaboration with project teams. Ms. Arora holds an postgraduate diploma in human resource management from MBA Gurgaon and a bachelor's of arts in economics from Kiruriman College, University of Delhi. Her diverse professional background has provided her with a solid foundation in talent acquisition and strategic HR operations. So now, introducing our next panelist, we have Mrs. Mehak Mahajan. Thank you, ma'am, for being here today. We are eager to learn from your expertise in digital HR transformation. Mrs. Mahajan is currently a consultant in digital HR at hrtech. This is a Singapore-based beauty company where she leads strategic workforce transformation by integrating technology and analytics into HR processes. Her focus on recruitment reimagination drives optimization across workplace operations. Mrs. Mahajan holds an MBA in Human Resources from IIM Raj and a BTech in Electronics and Communication Engineering from Punjab Technical University. Her diverse skill set in project management and data-driven workforce insights makes her an invaluable asset in the field of digital HR.
The eagerly awaited moment has finally arrived. Thanks to our exceptional faculty members and the months of hard work put in by the entire Synergia team, we are thrilled to present the IIFT Delhi's annual HR magazine, the Manthan. We organized a competition for article submissions and we were overwhelmed by the enthusiastic response from various B School students. Manthan features some of the finest articles we received during this competition. At this time, I would like to invite all the senior club coordinators and the junior club coordinators to join me on the stage for the unveiling of the magazine along with the panelists. This time, we have the salary negotiation challenge, an exciting part of today's summit. This challenge will showcase participants' ability to navigate real-world scenarios where they negotiate salary packages, balancing both employee expectations and organizational constraints. It offers a practical demonstration of key HR skills such as negotiation, tactics, strategic thinking, and decision making. Evaluated by the industry experts, this challenge promises to give us valuable insights into how talent acquisition and compensation strategies come together in today's competitive market. So here's how the round will proceed. We have allotted the top 10 contestants from the first round in a team of two, one playing the employer, the other playing the employee. They will be handled the background sheet which contains their expectations, goals, and constraints a few minutes prior to their turn in order to prepare. Once the preparation time is over, teams will engage in a 7-minute negotiation round where they will present their cases, discuss terms, and aim to reach an agreement. After all five teams have completed their negotiations, our esteemed panel of judges will provide feedback and share valuable insights about how salary negotiations work in real-world scenarios. Towards the end of the summit, they will announce the winners and top three teams will walk away with the fantastic prizes and certificates. Best of luck to all the teams and we look forward to an exciting and insightful round of negotiation. Let's begin the salary negotiation challenge. I'd like to invite Team 1, Friendly State, and Mohammed Sanan to the stage. Please take your positions and second your negotiation. Take a mic.
Check.
Yeah, sir. Uh, on the mic, sir.
मैं एक स्लाइड करे जा रहा है वो
Hello.
अच्छा
Yeah.
ये जो ब्रिक है ना तेरे
Start.
लैपटॉप के ऊपर तो
So good afternoon, Priya. How are you doing?
Good afternoon. I've been fine. Everything is good.
All right. How's been your day? I know Saturdays can be challenging.
Sure, the work actually, has been quite challenging. But I've been working on the project with my members, and it can be very fun too.
Great that you're enjoying your work as well. But I'll keep this short since it's a Saturday. You might be also, wanting to head home. So let's head over to your, appraisal cycle that we are at right now. So let's discuss with your role right now. I hope that you're happy. I understand that you've been working on very, key projects for us recently, and your performance, as I've, heard from your mentors, also has been really good. So I'm expecting that you're happy with the kind of work that you've been doing so far, right?
Truly, I mean, as I said, the team has been great, and we are progressing on the project very much, and it's quite fun and brainstorming, and everything is very enjoyable here, to be honest.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. So, you're currently at 22 with us, right? Now 22 LPA, right? And I heard that you've been expecting something. So, may I understand what exactly is the requirement? Are you looking for a positional hike, or are you just looking for, something in terms of remuneration right now? Here?
Look, I've been here for 4 years and I've been handling multiple projects. I was hoping more of just not just a payroll because, as I said, the team has been great and I want to explore much more responsibilities. It would be great for me to lead a team of my own and take a position of responsibilities as well. And I am looking in that range where I can get more compensation for my work because the competition here, and along with that, a future here as well.
The future part is definitely secured. Be rest assured Priya, about that. We have been, monitoring your art for the past, 12 months or so as well, and we are continuously doing that as well. And we do have plans in terms of hierarchy, but in terms of immediate benefits that the company can offer you right now, is that since you are at currently 22 LP and you understand how the entire sector has been operating right now, it's becoming really difficult for every company, not just our side, to operate, but we are still happy to, increase your salary to somewhere around 23.5 LPA, if that's something that would be beneficial to you.
So actually, I've been getting a lot of marriage proposals from my home, and I'm soon planning to start a family and get a kid, hopefully. And I'm dreaming about all of these things. And to dream about it, I'll need a bit higher. Hopefully, what I'm looking with all the expenses that is coming forward, and my range is around 31 LPA.
First of all, congratulations that
Thank
you,
you.
wanting to start a family. That's excellent news. But yeah, on one side, I can be very happy that you are, start wanting to start a family. But the figure that you've quoted is truly astronomical for me right now, the company as well, right? But let's try to find some middle ground, because see, you've been here for 4 years now, right? So it won't make sense for you to also restart again a new company, right? And the kind of, as we started discussing earlier, right, the kind of projects that you've been working on, the kind of exposure that our company provides you compared to other companies might be not really that great. The kind of trust you have gained of everyone in the team, right, that is something that will take a longer amount of time in a different company for you to develop as well. Right. So I don't think so that switching this for the sake of money. I understand that it's a great requirement, but since you are wanting to start your family, and that's great news, and even though I did not want to do this, but let's go to somewhere around 26 directly, and we can just close it so that everyone is happy, and hopefully I'm invited to the marriage as well.
And to be honest, I love here. I love working here, and I love the team. So Yeah, we can go under the amount that I quoted, but I also need a bit more flexible hours in my working time. And I told you, is planning to start a family, and I don't want to be that hectic in the work. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we can go around on a range of 28 if a family benefit can be benefits can be provided from your end.
So, answering your first question in terms of the work-life balance, the kind of work hours that you're expecting, I think that would be something that would be under the purview of your manager itself. It would not be right on my part to comment about that. But you know the lifestyle that everyone has, right, including other people who are managers. Right? So I don't think so that should be a massive challenge apart from odd days or odd weeks when something is in the pipeline. But that is something you'll have to discuss with your manager. But in terms of compensation, since you mentioned 28 and I mentioned 26, but 28 would still not be possible. I'm so sorry about that. But since we value you so much and we have this trajectory planned for you in terms of promotion going forward, so let's just close it at 27.
Last 1 minute remaining.
I, to be honest, I was hoping for 28 actually. Yeah, but I cannot go below than 27.50 to me. From my end, if you think about it, starting a new family and building a home within this town is quite expensive, and I think we can come to a conclusion as soon as I feel.
Since you mentioned family thrives and times a charm, so consider that as a bonus from the company side. So we'll shake hands at 27.
Last 30 seconds.
Yeah, we can sure. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Soya and Sunan. You may take your seat. Next, let's welcome team 2, Shani and Satya. Please take your seats. Check the mic, yes.
Hello.
Please start your negotiation. So, Shani, how are you?
Good afternoon. I'm doing well. What about you?
It's a rather fine day. I've been working this morning.
Okay. So how is Pratishtha doing recently? I mean, how is the company performing? Can you give me some insights into it?
The company is performing rather well. There are a few challenges in the industry that we are facing, but it's not something that we face for the first time. And I'm very optimistic about the situation, and let's say this quarter will also be profitable for us.
Okay. And what is the company's future aspirations? I mean, seeing the current industry.
So as of now, we are the third in the industry that we are working in, and we are very close to taking over our competitor. But the thing is that the competitor also has a very high rate of growth, for which we need to really work on our finances and make sure that we are not spending anywhere that's not necessary. So that's why, even though we are optimistic, there are challenges that we are facing right now.
Okay. So basically, I wanted to have this meet along back. Since you know that I have been working in the company since a few years, and you can see by my other performance also that I've been doing pretty well, and I have been getting feedback constantly from my mentor. But now, because seeing the market situation and everything, I think that my salary does not reflect what performance I give. So I wanted to discuss the same with you.
So basically, you're asking for a raise, but the thing is that as of now, the industry standard is very close to what we are offering you. And apart from the cash components, the incentives that we offer you, the other benefits that we offer you, along with the transportation benefits, apart from this, are very close to the industry standard and even a bit higher. Apart from this, the work culture of a company is something that the other companies are really trying to, let's say, implement in their own companies. So, what is the range that you're looking for? Because I don't want to end this conversation here like this without giving you any range, but what's the range that you have in mind?
I do agree with the points that you have mentioned, but then there are also few things that really make me doubtful about the company despite working for like so many years. First being the time constraint which are given to me at times to meet a particular deadline. So there are certain things as well, but talking about the range, increment to around like 30,000 would be decent enough.
That's like over somewhere around double what we are offering you right now, and it's totally not possible to offer you without any further promotion. And promotions are not something that we are doing right now because the company is not, let's say, in that position to have more and more people in the higher leadership. It could be possible in the future, but as of now, doubling your salary, that's totally not possible for us. But since you do want a raise, so right now your salary is around 22 lakh rupees, as I can see. We can increase it to 23 lakhs if you want.
I do agree on financial constraints, but then I have tried applying. I didn't want to mention this, but then I have tried applying to different companies as well. And seeing my skills, I have been getting a pretty decent offer. But because I have long-term relations with this company, so I don't want to leave that. So 30 lakhs is something that I'm looking forward to.
Actually, I am aware that there are many startups that are offering you very high packages, and many of our employees have been poached by many previous startups. But the thing with those companies is that they have failed and have left the employees in a very bad position. And that is something that we do not believe in, and that is not a position we want to see our employees in. So, since you are negotiating in good faith, I would like to up my offer to somewhere around 26 lakh rupees.
Thanks for raising it to this amount, but then to 30 lakhs, I mean, if not 30, so around 28 would be decent enough. And also, not just about the salary, but then, as I mentioned, I am facing certain dilemmas as well. So, one being the time pressure that I have mentioned. Recently, I have also had a personal problem that I cannot share, but because of it, I need some time for my personal commitments as well. And since you know that my mentor who is mentoring me for so many years is leaving the company, so that would be an additional pressure on me. So 28.5, 29 would be a decent thing then.
Actually, since I know you from a long time back and I've seen that you have been working for the company, from the upper management of the company, there has been an incentive for me, and they have told me that you should outsource the work that you're doing to a company in India that is in a tier 2 company, which will significantly reduce our cost. And I had basically negotiated a push for you to be in this company from my end. And that's why I want you to work in this company, but my upper limit is 27.5 lakh rupees, and that's for fine. So I would really like you to work on that page. And about the promotion, I would definitely push for you to get a promotion in the next upcoming promotion cycle, and you will definitely get a raise at that point in time.
Okay, that's great. Then I think 27.5 lakhs would work for me. But then please keep into mind the things that I've talked to you regarding the time, the work pressure at certain days, and the mentor thing. And also, since I've been working in the same role, I wish to change my vertical if given an opportunity in the future.
So definitely, in the next promotion cycle, I will look at the vertical. Apart from this, I will talk to the upper management about restructuring the team so that the work that is on your shoulders is lessened to a certain extent. But this is not something I can promise, but to keep faith in me that I will definitely do this.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. It's really nice to do this.
Same this side.
Thank you, Mr. and Satya. You may take this. Next, let's welcome team 3, Sarika and Diya Jain. Please have a round of applause.
Hi Sarika, how are you? Hi Riya. I'm good.
Please start the negotiation.
Hi Sarika, how are you? Yeah, hi Riya, I'm good. How are you doing? I'm doing great. How is everything going? How was your day? Yeah, it was good. It was good? Yeah. And how is your life going in general? How is your personal life going? Yeah, I think I'm doing great. And my family is doing great. So it's all good. Can I know the reason of you being here today? Yeah, sure. So basically, there are few reasons that I wanted to talk to you about. So the work is going great here, and I've been enjoying the work culture and everything. But based on my personal expenses that have been increasing and the contributions towards the company, I believe that I deserve a salary hike. So that is the reason that I want to put forward and communicate about this.
Okay, so can I know the reasons based on which you're asking for a salary hike?
Yeah, sure. So I'm part of the company for a very long period, and I have seen the company in its highs and lows, and I think we have been on a path of growth right now. So I believe that I deserve the benefits based on my contribution that I have made to the company. So I believe that I deserve a salary hike based on my contributions till now.
Okay, so as you know, there are other people also in the organization who are working at your level, who are performing the same roles and responsibilities. So, do you think it would be fair to give you a hike and not them the same thing?
Yeah. So I believe there would be several factors behind the obviously the salary part. So I've been working for a very long period. Yes, there are so many people at my position, but I have contributed for a very long time to the company. I have given a lot of time overtime. I have given overtime to the company, and based on my contributions, I can see like the positions are same no doubt, but I have worked beyond limits for the company to grow because when it was in a very premature state, I have worked for a very hard and I think that should pay off me and that's the reason I'm being
I do understand your concerns, but there are certain professional constraints that limit me to increasing your salary. So there was a benchmarking performed based on which people's salary was decided. So it would be a little difficult for me to negotiate the same, but I would like to know what you're expecting out of
sure.
this.
So right now, I definitely believe that the benchmarking numbers would be correct, but I believe that there should be a range, there would be a salary band in which my position would fall under. So I would like to get a hike of 35,000 at this point of time. So yeah, that is my expectation, but based on a benchmarking, we can put the number forward and ready to negotiate.
So, Sarika, looking at the current state at which the company is, it's a growing startup right now, and asking for your current salary is 22,000, and directly asking for 35 lakhs is 22 lakhs, and directly asking for 35 lakhs is something that the company cannot afford right now. The best, I guess, that we can do is 25, but it would also include an increase in your roles and responsibilities. So you will be advancing to another position for the same, so that the people at your roles and responsibilities do not feel that I'm being, looking at your work with the company. I would like to raise your position and with a uh, with an increase in the salary also. So that is something that we can do.
Thank you, dear. So I would be looking towards the position that you will be giving me. I am ready to take leadership position for any position that would be better for my career as well. For that, but based on the salary that I am expecting, I would say that I can come from 52 lakhs annually. But beyond that, this will not fit into my picture because I think based on my personal expenses also I need a salary which is equivalent to towards this amount. And yeah, I also deserve the same. So I believe that 32 lakh would be the
We value you as an employer at our company, as an employee at our company startup. But increasing your salary to 32 would be something that is not possible for me right now. So if you could, if you could actually come, we can actually come to a conclusion of 25 lakhs. It would be really grateful with some additional benefits. We can talk about it later, and then going ahead, maybe we can look for more positions for you as and when it opens the company.
Okay, so I was looking for the stake in the company. So would there be any sort of stock payments that you can offer along with the salary package for the other?
Right now, the best we can do is an increase in the salary. If not 25 lakhs, the best I can do is 27 lakhs. For the ESOPs, maybe a little while later we can look at it. But as of now, I don't think that would be a possible option.
I'm ready to get to 28 lakhs annually, but along with that, I expect a stake in the company because I would be moving towards a leadership position as well. But I would have making more contributions to it, and I'll be looking forward towards its profit as well. So I would like to have some stake in the company as well.
So, as mentioned, Sarika, right now the stake won't be possible, but we actually value you as an employee in our company. We also value the expertise that bring to the company. So for now, I would request you to please, come to a conclusion to 27 lakhs, and then further we can see going ahead what roles and responsibilities open up in the future. We can also talk about ESOPs going ahead, maybe if that's possible for you.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm agreeing to 27 lakh annually, but I
Last
would
1 minute.
towards the ESOP. So I would say, bond should take the note for the stake in the company, and that's it.
Okay, that is really great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Priya and Sarika. You may take your seats. Next, let's welcome team 4, Rishwin and Shailesh. Please check your mic.
Hello.
Please start your negotiation.
Hi Rishmi, how are you?
Hey Shitesh, I'm fine, I'm doing good. How are you? So have my Saturday off that I'm able to enjoy my free time. So yeah.
Right. So what brings you here, Rishmi?
Okay. So my journey in Tech Vista for the last 4 years has been amazing, and I've really enjoyed, learned a lot, and culture is something that I'm really appreciative about. However, in the last 4 to 5 months, my situations have changed a little bit, and I want to bring the same to you.
Right. So that's exactly what we are here for, and we'll not beat around the bush, and we'll come directly to the negotiations that we wanted to talk about. So do you have any expectations in mind before going ahead?
Like I mentioned, one of the reasons why I've enjoyed this company so much is because of the culture we have and the transparency we have, right? So, I believe that figure coming from your end would be the best way to go about it. So, how flexible are you in terms of negotiation?
Right, Rishmi. So you know that we currently have you at 22 lakhs per annum.
Right.
While you also do know that you have been one of our valuable employees and you have always been incremented to that level. And we really appreciate your level to that extent. However, you also know that the market has been really tough this year.
Correct.
And looking at the same, we are looking forward to working with you in future as well. And we wanted to offer you an incentive of like certain percentages, and we are looking at a ballpark figure of 24 lakhs per annum as your annual series.
All right, that sounds decent. However, like I mentioned, right, my situations have not been the best. The last couple of months, the tides have really changed. So, if not the figure, is there any way you could provide me something in terms of health insurances, because that has become a really important aspect.
Right, we could probably look into that, and we could chip in like a lakh of health insurance. I also wanted to understand, like, do you have any family emergency or something of that sort going on?
I would like to keep this conversation formal. However, because of the transparency that exists, I would really appreciate if something can be done. I can take out some time for myself. Upkill myself. The world is going at a very fast pace, right? So it's never been important to remain relevant in the market. So if a company could offer me some free, I can invest time in myself and be a better asset to the company. So anything on that front?
Right. So you do know that we as a company really value our employees, and we have also been looking at flexible work hours for our employees for the past 4 years, especially after COVID. So one of the aspects that we probably could look into your case is that we could provide you with flexible work hours as well as certain days at work from office and a few days at work from. So the hybrid work culture, like right now we're coming 5 days at office, right? So that is something that we could probably look forward to.
I really appreciate that, and in fact, I'd also like this opportunity to take this opportunity to acknowledge the fact that these appreciations really keep me going. So thank you for that. All of this is good. I mean, I am looking to be here for the long term. I'm not looking at a temporary situation, right? But as the crux has been, my situations have been really bad, and that has in fact, although it's upsetting, forced me to look for alternative opportunities that I'm emotionally not seeking because I'm invested in this company. So the figure still troubles me a little. So is it that my desired, figure of 32, can it at least be boosted to 30? The 30 lakh?
A 30 lakh figure right now would be really too much, in my opinion, wherein I probably could think that it would be somewhere around 40 to 45%, if I'm not wrong. However, we could probably, like, that the market has been tough, and you do know that we do value our employees, and like a lot of companies, especially the tech companies, have been laying off our employees, uh, their employees, but we have been retaining them throughout. So we could probably look to negotiate in terms of probably offering you better upskilling sets if possible, but 30 is way too much in our opinion. We still stick by the figure of 25 at the moment.
All right. So, okay. So, give me 5 seconds. I just work out something. Right. So, as it stands right now, my final CTC being 22, the base is 15, right? And the variable is 7. So, can that be boosted at least to a 20 plus 8?
Mm,
Which would sorry to interrupt you, but which would again come out to around what, 25 to 30% of an increment? So is that fine by you?
right. We were looking forward to like increase your base salary, wherein it was at 15, you wanted 20, right?
Right.
We could do that probably. I need to get back to you on that.
Last 1 minute.
We could probably do that. However, talking about a ballpark figure, if you commit your work to our company for like next 4 to 5 years, you could probably chip in with some ESOPs, and that could amount up to like 3 lakhs in all figures. So your annual or like your total CTC comes at around 27, 28, of course.
Right, that works. And just to clarify, my base would be
It would be somewhere around 18 to 20. We need to.
all right. That works for me. That works beautifully for me. I would just appreciate a quicker response because of the deadlines that I have.
Sure. I need to get back to with the financial team manager.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vishwan and Kshitij. Please, you may take my seat. Next, let's welcome Team 5, Pulkit and Samyukta. Please check your mic once.
Hello. Good afternoon, Priya. I hope you had a great weekend.
Yeah, good afternoon, Pulkit. Yes, I did have a great weekend. And what about you?
Great. I went for a trek in my friends for learning.
Okay. So I am here to discuss the hike that I am expecting since the company has been expecting to have a new project soon. Uh, as you know, I have been working with the core team of the company and developed one of the key software of the company and have been in the company for 4 years. But for the past 2 years, I didn't see any possible hike in my salary. So can we just negotiate about that?
Sure. So Priya, you're a great performer for us. Definitely, the last two projects that you were part of have given us substantial growth opportunities as well. And definitely, we would look forward to discussing a potential hike for you. Currently, your salary stands at 22 lakhs per annum, and we would be willing to offer you a 15% hike to 25.3 lakhs. I hope that works for you.
But based on the current industry standards, the average salary for the same role provided is around 28 to 29 lakhs. So can we discuss a more hike here?
Honestly, I do understand your concerns, but it is beyond our budget currently. As you know, the economy is not doing very well, and even though the scenario, you are a great performer for us, but we do have certain budget constraints because of which we cannot give you such a substantial hike in such a short time.
But given my performance and my knowledge and skill set, I believe there is more ground for increase in the salary. But 25.3 is lesser than the industry standards for now.
I do understand that, but we have to maintain equity among all our employees, and giving you such a substantial hike in such a short period of time would might cause problems among the other employees as well.
Okay, I understand that is a valid point. So can we discuss what additional benefits can I get over this package?
Of course, we'll be open to that. Do you have anything specific in mind?
Uh, I have been the same role for the past 4 years, so can I expect a promotion?
We can definitely look into that. In fact, I was discussing with the management, and you do deserve promotion. I think currently we cannot give you, but at the year-end cycle, 6 months from now, we can discuss over it, and you can expect a change in role for you.
Okay. But what other benefits is there scope for, like, can I get health insurance premium, etc.?
See, currently our company policy is we give medical insurance to our employee and their spouses. We can include your children in that plan if that is something you're comfortable with. Additionally, I think something you like, something very interesting I have in mind for you. We can offer you IPL tickets, particularly for matches happening in Bangalore. So if that interests you,
That is a great opportunity, but how many tickets am I getting? Is it for the whole family or is it for two or three, etc.?
we can give you 2 tickets for all the matches that RCB played at the Chinnaswamy Stadium.
Sure. Given the crucial times in the company right now and how much my team has been working, I guess the number of paid time off the leaves can be increased. Right now, you're providing only 15 paid leaves per annum.
I do understand that, and yes, we can discuss on that. Maybe somewhere around 18 paid vacation days. Would that work for you?
I think 20 paid leaves would work for me if that's possible.
Sure, I'll talk to the management. I think we can work something around that.
Sure. And if the pay cannot be increased beyond 25.3 lakhs, can you provide additional 2 to 3 lakhs of equity in the company?
Definitely, stock options would be a great option, and as you can see, we are a growing company, and we want you in the long run. So definitely, stock options would be a great opportunity. But unfortunately, 3 lakhs would be too high for us. We can give roughly say 1 lakhs of stock options that will get vested 4 years from now.
But in other companies performing in similar market growth rate, I think the employees in similar roles are getting around 2.5 lakhs of stock equity.
Yes, you make a very good point, and we would want you to be with us in the long run. And I think we can work something around 2 lakhs if that's something you're comfortable with.
Can you make it 2.25?
All right, I think 2.25 is something we can work with.
And but given the additional bonuses you have given, I still believe that 25.3 as salary is still way less compared to it, and I'm expecting at least 28 lakhs of base pay.
See, being very honest with you, 28 lakhs is way beyond our budget. We cannot exceed a certain limit. I am even willing to offer you a performance bonus. We see your team has been doing really well, and we discussed internally, and I think a 10% performance bonus is something we can potentially work with.
Okay, that means 10% performance bonus is 2.2 lakhs added to 25.3.
Right,
27.5 lakhs.
That's correct.
Last 1 minute, guys.
Okay. So 27.5 lakhs along with 20 paid time off.
Yes, 20 paid time off leaves, and stock options were 2.25 lakhs.
Okay.
We have even improved your insurance coverage to include your kids. And additionally, the IPL tickets that we mentioned as an additional perk.
And when exactly is there a scope of career growth opportunities and workshops?
Definitely, we do have workshops coming up. Even we have something planned for you. It's a 2-week training program in our offshore office that is in Singapore. I think that would be a great learning opportunity for you and would really help you step up to the role you're expecting in 6 months.
I think this would suffice. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pulkit and Sabita. You may take your seats. We will announce the results at the end of the event. Thank you, guys.
We have gathered to explore how artificial intelligence can reshape talent acquisition, enhance efficiency, and foster a more inclusive hiring process. Now, I would like to ask the panelists to provide feedback for the candidates.
First of all, thank you everyone for having us today. And great platform for all of you to explore, know about HR and how it's growing. Coming to the salary negotiation challenge, I believe all three of us had a good time looking at something that we do on a day to day, having employees come to us, talk about their salaries, trying to understand what best can be done. And I think all of you would be in such situations going forward. And great way to learn all of this practically by looking at or trying to understand what we should and what we shouldn't do in such situations. First, talking about pluses and what I take back from here. Good to see that people are becoming more transparent and real about their personal situations in today's day and age, which previously wasn't the case. People would not talk about, hey, I'm getting married, hey, I'll probably be off, I would need more flexible hours. In today's time and the upcoming ones, this is something that we should bring up with our HRs and the people we negotiate our pay with. Good to call those out and not always have a mask on in terms of, hey, I'm doing well and performing for the company and I need more. Getting more into detail is where I think there were mistakes in terms of we didn't really look into how did we get to a 22 LPA, where did the employee actually start from, what was like an year-on-year growth that he didn't see, and what did the company actually offer him. Was it in line with what the industry offered, and was it in line with what the other employees in that company were offered? For example, if the market had been tough and if we're talking about a startup, did they actually offer like an industry standard of a 7%, 10%, or whatever that industry has in terms of what a year-on-year growth is? If that wasn't offered, the employer can probably talk on that, and the employee can also negotiate talking about how his growth has been. Secondly, on the promotion and the career growth, I believe that that is something or that requires more in-depth study of is the candidate or is the employee ready for the next level. And that is, do we have signals that they're already performing at the next level? These do not happen on the basis of, hey, if somebody has a competing offer or if somebody is looking for a salary hike. Thirdly, I think in terms of being closer to reality, we did see some great negotiations where people talked about, hey, what are the breakups? How can we change that? What more benefits can we add in? Talking about total rewards, which is great, which is what companies do and try to sell. They do try to sell what they offer other than just compensation, which was great. And yeah, that was my experience and my remarks on it. Thank you.
I think I mostly agree with all whatever Pratishtha said, and I think she covered most of the topics. It was really interesting seeing the negotiations and all. However, I think it was interesting, like in today's generation, I think when the new generation of workers, the Gen Zs are coming into the workforce, they have a very different style of negotiation from what I'm seeing. Is that they're much more open, they're much more direct, and in regards, they're categorically created this balance I need and everything. But at the same time, I think there are some misses which I saw. Is that an HR does not have the authority to bring in a policy level change across any organization, no matter what you want to do. Like no matter how good a performer that person is. And HR does not have the authority to do a policy level change on one call. Like it's a massive wheel that moves around, including all the leadership. Right? You cannot have, say, different rules for you in terms of like you can only come to this to office or like I'll increase your leaves from X to Y. These are policy level decisions which an HR does not have. An HR can, while negotiating, you will always find that that person has a CTC or a total cost of the company, right? That portion is there. And within that, you will generally see each role has a division of like the pay bracket that is there for that role, and that is what we call as a pay percentile, right? So at what pay percentile are you in, and what are the job roles that you're doing, right? So that falls into the job band. So those two lines should intersect at one point, which creates a 1 or 2 lakhs gap wherein the negotiation happens, right? So I think the ways of negotiation could have also increased to much more deeper components of the compensation, right? Not just ESOPs, but variables and different types of ESOPs as well. In India, we see a lot of just ESOPs, right? You hear all the companies coming on campus for X less ESOP. But if you see, there are different kinds of stock options which are also given, right? Which some rest on performance. And since many of the teams talked about giving a promotion or like giving a role hike, it more also can also be tied along with that, like a performance-based stock unit, right? If you perform this level, you will have this much vesting, or a time-based stock unit, right? So those are also there, and I think since we're all starting off, like it would be great, like everyone does research on those aspects as well. It will really help you in negotiations. Thank you.
So, first of all, I'd like to congratulate all the 5 teams. Well done. So, I'm sure this is something new to you all and good effort on that end. Just would like to add on to what Pratishtha and Swastik added. Covered most of the points. I'll just be quick and brief about it. See, in today's time, attrition is not bad. In our, fathers or forefathers' age, it was like you join one company and then you stay with that company forever. But business has changed and these things don't make sense. So let's be realistic. And in being realistic, you don't have to be rude, but how do you make business sense out of that? Negotiation is very important because at the end of the day, everything culminates to whether business can afford it or not. And that's going to lead to whether you will finally get a yes from management on this discussion of salary negotiation. So if employee can guarantee that his or her work will be able to bring the amount of business from which a company can get the ROI from the hike that the person is asking for, I think the company will never say no to the hike. So can you be that clear and can the HR systems be that clear that performance is directly linked to the pay? If yes, and if you can enable in that your organizations, whichever organization you join, I think it will be a great job. So I think as people managers, you might all not join HR, but you'll all be people managers, and whenever you are there, try to build a system, a process where when these discussions are happening, the employee can clearly show that this was my performance, this is the business that I've brought to the table, and from this business, this is the ROI that you will get as a business, and that's how this hike which I'm asking is totally logical. So if you guys can put that thing into place and discuss on those lines, I think it'll be a great job. Yeah. Thank you.
As we manage for the feedback, I'm sure that both the participants and your area, it is crucial to understand the opportunities and challenges that AI presents and how we can harness it to improve our HR practices. Now, I would like to request our moderator, Mr. Swastik, to lead the panel discussion and engage with us.
Sure. Thank you so much, Jess, for the opportunity again. So I think the main topic here is use of AI in talent acquisition. Right? And just to give a brief about how it is that from while we were talking, Pratishtha here works in the recruitment team at Google, right? So on a daily basis, sees firsthand how recruitment at the ground level happens, right? The major portion of it. Mehak works as a consultant, right? So she handles all the areas of problems which companies are facing in regards to recruitment and how we use technology, right? And I work in the middle, neither that side or this side. I'm the person wherein all the teams come across with all their problems and we try to create solutions for that, right? In an internal position, right? I discuss with the leadership whether it is possible or not, and then we go to the extreme. Say, for example, right, that can you help us with this solution? This is a vision that we have, and they will create a solution, right? So I'll first go to Pratishtha only, like how is it that you're seeing that AI is being used in today's recruitment scenario, right? And how has it changed over the last few years?
Sure. Thank you, Swastik, for summarizing what we three do and how it ties together. Talking about recruitment, I would like to start with the candidate journey, the funnel that we go through. The very first step when you have a requirement or when you predict that, hey, this is something that a company is going to venture into, they think about we would need people to do it and how are we going to resource it. Even if you're planning to the future, for say in 2025, if any company is looking to grow in the area of AI/ML or robotics, they would do a talent mapping. A talent mapping exercise is the very first to start with in the recruitment process. That is to understand where our pool lies geographically in terms of do we have the skill sets in this area, which location should we target, how is our pool in terms of what is the maturity level, what grades are people at, or when is it that robotics actually started as a career in India, which areas, levels have people grown to, and what skill sets do they have. When we look at AI and talent mapping, well, AI is a growing field in that. It is a way of sparsing through multiple resumes at once to draw conclusions and come about with all of this data. So in the very first step of talent mapping, AI has been really helpful and is a growing field. Going to the very next step that goes into talent sourcing. Of course, till now, how resumes have been looked at, there is the ATS, then there are bots that look at resumes and work them through. We still need a mix of human touch to it because not a skill required is equal to a word on somebody's CV. So that has to go hand in hand, and is my view that sourcing would always be a mix and should always be a mix of both, like something through a bot or an automated system plus somebody actually looking at a resume. But AI is growing in this area as well for companies that have lakhs of applications coming each day for an opening, and for recruiters or screeners at the back end working on them. It really helps to get to from 1 lakh to probably a 50 or like a top 10 percentile from those resumes to read them through and find which are up here. I think talking about the later stages from sourcing to the prep and candidates appearing for interviews. If you look at candidate prep, ChatGPT, Gemini, or all of these open source platforms have really come in handy when even I'm preparing to take an interview or if folks are going to, it's very easy. You can put in a JD, you can ask what are the sample questions for me, what is it that I should be assessing a candidate on. So both on the recruitment side as well as candidate side, on the prep bit, which is quite key in terms of a candidate conversion, has been a key area where we see AI playing a part. Going forward, predictive models also help understand comp. Of course, that is a huge area for AI to get into and develop models in terms of benchmarking with other companies, internal benchmarking, understanding where we rank. But all of these areas, when you look at from the very beginning of a recruitment life cycle, each of these areas have had impact on or from AI, and in a positive way. We also do see some misses in terms of, hey, there's a great candidate, he's worked on something with transferable skills, but not quite exactly what we're looking for. We do lose on these candidates, and in terms of, how malpractices have come about, loss of uh, us being able to communicate well, write our emails, there's always somebody to help us do that in terms of people doing interviews on Gmeets, on video conferencing platforms, using AI at the back end to answer those questions, or not having the thought in mind but having everything on the plate. So, of course, there have been some downsides to it as well.
But so my question is this: that since it's been used in so many very different works, that as a recruiter, has it made your life easier, or it has increased the number of complexities?
Well, I would say it has made my life easier, and I see others within the org feel the same. A very important part of recruitment also is unified communication to all our candidates to ensure that there is a similar experience that all of them get. With use of AI on each of these steps, that experience or the kind of difference probably each recruiter would have had in terms of with every candidate, we're trying to unify that or have that more uniformly. All the forms that go out, all the how the press goes about, all of these. So AI has really helped there.
So I think like AI is helpful in recruitment and has made this process simpler. But Matt, from what I understand is this that you would be the one who will be setting it up for the whole company, right? And what are the challenges that you feel or you're seeing on a day-to-day basis for the organizations when they're setting this idea? Like I think everybody's seeing the benefits of AI, right? That it's going to revolutionize the recruitment industry and they're doing it. But I understand, having worked in this field also, like what are the kind of challenges that you're seeing that most companies are facing today when trying to implement these futuristic models in that?
Thanks, Swastik, for the question. So, see, AI has always been there, right? It's not a recent development. It's been there since 1956, and now suddenly we have seen that people are talking about AI, right? And the reason behind it is because now everyone can use AI. It's being democratized with the help of ChatGPT, what we're calling large language models. So what has happened is we already had those ML models, we already had those AI models, but now every HR, each person in the talent acquisition team can use AI and they can leverage AI. And now the question is, how do we leverage AI? How do we leverage it efficiently? And there are definitely challenges because no AI model is perfect. If that would have been the case, then probably it will be, in the best scenario that we always get the perfect candidate and there is no attrition, though no, problems regarding retention, engagement, or stuff like that. But the truth is, these models are based on algorithms, and these algorithms need to be continuously trained. So you cannot depend on say past 20 years data and say that okay, now the model is there and this is the end. You have to continuously build those models, train those models, check for audits, what we call as AI audits, and specifically for HR, it's the HR AI audits. And this is a new role which is probably going to come up. Like currently we just have HR managers, or we have the talent acquisition team. Probably in future we'll have an HR AI team where there are people who are like HR AI auditors who will be probably doing these audits on a regular basis to check whether these AI models are working correctly or not, whether they are fair enough, whether they are doing it equitably as per the rules and regulations of hiring of that particular region, as per the GDPR regulations, whether they are safe and secure, there is any data privacy issue. So all these different challenges are going to come up because now each HR can do it, and since everyone can do it, there's a major challenge in how do we ensure that it's done correctly. It's done in a safe way that there are no negative implications of it, because there can be negative implications in the sense that just because of past data, you're not hiring new talent sources which have come up in the market. You're totally neglecting those, which is leading to poor DEI issues. So ensuring that all of that is, ensured in the organization. These are some of the challenges which are going to be there.
Sure. I think challenges are a lot. I think, and from looking at the crowd, like let me bring it back on ground. Is that what kind of AI? What kind of impact do you think that your roles will have, right, when you pass out from colleges like this? And I'm honestly telling you, from what I understand, the current scenario is this: that AI is having an impact on talent acquisition, right, and in many other facets also, but a major impact on talent acquisition. What companies are today facing a problem is this, that they are deciding that I will use this XYZ software for doing predictive analytics and AI, but they're not ready yet. Like, by not ready, I mean like they need to have a data set as well to feed in the data, right? As she said, right, the AI needs to be trained, right? But who is going to give that training, right? If you bring in an external consultant for doing that training, that person will take a lot more time in understanding the role in a better way, in understanding the culture in a better way, and how their organization operates, right? So it is best that you do that AI training portion of it in-house, right? But your current HR managers are not well skilled enough or not well equipped enough to have ever done that, because the average experience of people is on an average 20 plus when you go to the senior levels, right? And for those people, it is highly difficult to fathom a AI model which does everything of their job, right? That is where we as the next generation of HR folks, right, come across, and that is why you see the influx of roles in transformation and all these things. What you do is that you create a data set, or you create an analytical way how you can implement the new age of AI tech. I think that is where the consulting team comes across, right? And the whole problem starts on when Pratishtha tells me, say, that this is the problem. I'm seeing that there's a massive decline rate, there's a massive time to hire rate which has increased drastically, which is causing this. In the middle, I'll sit and I'll try to do the analysis, right? And for that, doing that analysis, I do not have the data, right? And so you bring in another team of the transformation team or some analytics team and everyone who will just collate the data of the last 10 years in a systematic way, which will then provide to her team that now help us how to create a project or how to go step by step so that I can implement it. No matter what, like the today's news channels and everything they say, that is really great, but it's really going to take 4 or 5 years of long transformation process to do that, right? But my next question or topic is this: that how do you think that AI has an impact on the biases of recruitment that we see, right? There's a lot of biases that previously used to happen, right? How do you see that AI has helped in there?
Sure. That's a great question, Swastik. Another thing to add on what Mehak and Swastik just talked about in terms of, is AI going to replace our jobs? And the great bubble, I think 2021 onwards, we started hearing that Gen AI has come about, it's an open source a lot of people's jobs would be replaced. I think that bubble has burst now for us to understand that the job roles might change, the kind of areas that would see growth would change, but it's not, HR isn't an area that can be replaced because we need a fine balance between tech and touch for this area to grow. From the very beginning of why HR came into place was probably when a business is being managed, a sales or a marketing team or a tech team, however, being people managers cannot still be work on the people side with just the use of tech. And from the very beginning of it and how it has come to being evolved with tech being hand in hand, is this fine balance is to continue. It might change and grow, but HR is here to stay and for long. Coming to the next part of it, which is bias busting and how AI helps in it. It does help in a way that while AI processes data, it doesn't look at where the person comes from. Are there any similarities in the background? Any biases in terms of what interests do they have? What caste, creed, color, or gender they come from? Every question in, for example, talking about an interview feedback. For AI to look at interview feedback, you can have questions that an interviewer asked and the answers that the candidate did give. And we can have various of these summaries of the interview feedbacks put together to come up with an outcome of what do you think is the candidate is a fit. And when an AI looks at it versus when a human looks at it, there are always biases playing at the back end of, hey, if I would have answered this question, this is how I would have come about it. Whereas when AI looks at it, the marking or the grading system on it would just be on the basis of what length and depth is being covered on it. So in those areas, especially in recruitment, interviews are really bias heavy. No matter how many bias busting trainings one goes through, how the culture of the organization is really deep and drilled down, biases do come in place. Even at larger organizations, you would see interviewers having certain mindsets before going to an interview, no matter how objective a question would be, there's always a lens or bias from, hey, the previous candidate answered this, hey, I think this is an interesting take on it, and how one should have processed with it. Great way of breaking this barrier is to have a final score and an outcome from an interview with all of this summary being graded by an AI. And second is to have one level of screening through an AI or a chatbot through a DVC to have those candidates rated to move forward. So it does definitely help there.
Sure. So, in terms of ethics, right? So when you are doing a specific project for a company, right? So what are the problems that you see that when this AI and ethics portion comes together, right? Because I think there are certain data sets, certain information which are always like kept for only specific eyes only, right? So the AI does those also take into account. How does the AI function and how do you implement it on a smaller scale for organizations? Right?
So one of the problems over here is, AI models can sometimes behave like black boxes. So even if you can say this is the data that we inputted into the model and this is the output we are getting, still, if you want to ask the system, the AI model, that how you got to this conclusion that this is the perfect candidate for this role, some of the AI models, and I would say probably 90% wouldn't be able to answer how part of it. It'll just say this is the answer, but if you want to look at the back end of it, that how it is coming to this conclusion, it's still a black box for most of the AI models. And that's where I think generative AI or conversational AI, which is able to interpret with the help of natural language processing, these models, it's able to convert what the machine is understanding to what we understand in our language, in any language probably across the globe. If that is possible, it will be able to sort that issue that, whether it's an ethical AI model or not. So this is one part of it where you don't know whether this model is actually working or not, and whether it's ethical to apply this in your organization or not at the first place. Now, even if you say that the model is working on the right logic, the model is correct, how robust is this model? Like, how much data is being used to train these models? Again, play a very big role, because if you're using a very small data set to train these AI models, probably you will get to a conclusion, but that conclusion might not be working in every situation. So you might get a wrong result because the sample size is very small of the data which is inputted into the system. Again, the third issue with the ethics part of it is whatever data, employee data is being shared into these models, it might leak some critical personal information like, the name of the person, the caste, creed, gender, all that part. And these models might be using those informations to come to a conclusion which might be correct as per history, because, for example, 20 years back from now, probably there would be more women leaving the workforce because of family reasons. But today, the situations have changed, and these models, if not given correctly trained, might still be using the same logic to come to a conclusion that probably, men are better fitted for these particular set of roles. So, how do you make that data anonymous so that the information that is actually not needed to train these models are not fed into these models, so that you get it to a right situation and there's no ethics issue. Then fourthly, there are always global issues, because if you're a global organization, probably these large language models, it's companies like Google and big fours, and probably those would be using those models, because startups usually are still not in that area where they would be leveraging this part of AI. So these big organizations are global, and then with global workforce comes global regulations. So employee regulations which are true in India might not be true in US and other parts of the world. So how do you make these AI models good enough to work as per the employee regulations for every part of the world? That is another ethics part which is coming into picture. So these are few of the things I think we need to look in when it comes to the ethics part.
Sure, I think that's important. And very interesting, I think, while Mehak was talking, I was just I just remembered a project which I was doing on AI, right, on AI HR tech on that, right, and it eventually failed. But I would still like to tell the project, it was this, that the organization wanted us to create a predictive model as to like the people that whom they are going to give an offer. Once we put in the data, the system should show that what is the percentage of joining uh, probability, right? Because this is where the timeline of the HR filling the position that increases the most. Because most people have a 2 to 3 months, in India specifically 2 to 3 months notice period. And that is why 60 to 90 days of after the candidate accepts the offer, the HR really has nothing else that can do. So they wanted to make sure that at least for 80% of the cases, they want to go forward with keep on searching for another better candidate if the probability percentage of joining is less than say 50% or something. But we created a model, we created lots of algorithms and everything. But eventually, to be honest, we found out that the accuracy level of the model is never increasing more than 60%. That is when we try to understand, and we had taken it more than I think 35 variables that we were calculating, some were dependent, some were independent, and the whole analysis was done, right? But even then, there was something factor which was missing, due to which the probability percentage of joining could never be found out. So we, at that moment of time, the executive team decided to go on with some other ways of hiring, and that is where I think AI, recruitment, leadership decisions, all of them actually I think come together as to if today this is not working, maybe 10 years down the line it will work, but it is not working not because that the AI is not capable of doing it, is because that at this stage companies are unable to fathom the kind of variables that need to be given, right? And this is where I think all the people who are going to join in the HR force in the next 2 years, they come in, right? You guys are expected not to do the mundane work that generally is done, right? That previously used to be done. But coming from some of the top B schools and coming from a background wherein you are allowed to think outside of the box, you should be able to understand, right, that what are the inputs that I give to the AI, how is it going to change, and what is the effect of that input when I give it to the AI, right? And only then your company will function. And trust me, guys, this is like a one-line statement, but when you actually do the projects on the ground, I think all three of us are estimate. I think that when we try to do that, even the slightest of change in the inputs, it takes months to do that, right? Because each change that you're going to feed to that $1 million project is going to come from 1,000 different departments, and the bigger organizations you don't even have to go, like you're already half dead by the time it's done, right? So understand this, that the role of yours as coming from these schools with like so much brain power and so much that is this, that you would be able to change the thought process of how the HR, AI in recruitment or in other fields work, right? The idea of predictive analytics, the idea of HR analytics, and how it can be used. I think, Pratishtha, you can add on like you have been working on this.
Yes, talking about variables in how the Indian market and the global market works, the variables of somebody accepting an offer and joining in, or at each step of the recruitment process, the factors that affect if they're going to apply, how are they going to schedule their interviews, how are they going to perform in those, and eventually if they are going to take the decision of joining or not. We can think of some variables while we do input into our AI models, some basic factors like location, compensation, what are the total rewards that we're offering, what are the projects we're offering. But when you actually work on the ground, you understand that there can be several personal conditions, reasons for somebody to act the way they do act during the whole process. There can be health conditions within their family with them. There can be somebody going the family way, some spouse changing their location and then they have to, their family moving out, their health conditions, their mental health conditions, how they perceive a particular location or a role. They know somebody who works there and is probably a level higher, so they wouldn't be okay with a level lower, how they understand comp and how growth should happen. Some biases also kick in, hey, the total pay is high, but I want more base salary than ESOPs because my monthly expenses are so. So in terms of variables of how far we can get with each of those candidates are so high that even if we try to input each of these into an AI model, I think even after we put in a 5,000 of them, there would be a 5,001, which would cause the difference in how the model reacts or the outcome comes about. And as I said before, that is where I feel this role or these roles within HR would never go redundant because this is the balance that we bring about. All these variables, understanding each situation, even to look at there's some people who cannot join at a particular time of the year because then they have to move location, their children have to change schools. And when they have to change schools, they have to probably take up a language. For example, when hiring in Bangalore, there are folks who don't want to take it up because their children have to learn Kannada. Now that is something in a third degree that impacts the candidate, right? But it does. So there can be many reasons, some local, some global, that would come about in all of this process while you do it. And as Swastik said, it is a long way to go for us to be able to input and for the AI to be actually able to understand all of the variables that come in.
Yeah, in between, I did mention that these AI models are usually being used by big organizations, but I just want to clarify one more thing added to what Pratishtha mentioned. Though AI models, a small organization, a small business, or anyone of you if who's trying to say build a business after passing out from here or whatever, you might not be able to build those AI models, but there are ways by which you can still use AI in talent acquisition or recruitment. So I would like to share on that part because this is also very important. There are one set of AI which is focusing on analytical part, which is building AI models. But then there's a second part of it which is more creative, which has recently been in headlines everywhere, which is what we call as generative AI. Now, generative AI, we just know about ChatGPT and everything that is just, you can ask anything and then based on the result will give you one output and that's it. But how do we apply it in our jobs, right? So, there are actually many tools which you can use even without any purchase. Actually, even right now you can do that. So, if we talk about talent acquisition, right from the very first step of it, which is if you want to hire for an X position, you need to have your job description in place. Okay, so you can build an AI JD with the help of several tools which are available online. Like Easy Peasy is one of the examples I would share. So if you go and search easypeasy.ai, it will help you. So you just have to type the name of the role for which you need to create a JD and it will give an output with a job description. Now you can obviously say that I didn't like the tone of it. Probably I want it more formal or I want these XY skills to be added to the job description. You can always do that additional changes, but at least the first draft of it will be there in your hand. Okay. So first step, JD, you have it. Second step, you want to source candidates. Okay. So in sourcing, there's a tool called attract.ai. So if you go Google attract.ai, you will, it will ask you which role you want to hire for, and then it will give you exact 3 Boolean searches, which you can do on LinkedIn. And if you do use those Boolean searches, you will end up getting a set of talent pool, which will be probably a right hire. Okay, so sourcing is also sorted that way. So again, if you go for screening, we have Verbo. There are a lot of tools. Basically, I'm saying it's not that if you are a big organization, then only you can use it. Even a small organization or even a single person organization can use AI in today's world to do hiring, to do recruitment. It could be a one-person recruitment, and you can use AI to do it. So, that's the power of generative AI, and you must try that. And it's very interesting. A lot of tools, I just mentioned Mitra probably, there are hundreds of tools like that which are there currently. And let's see if there's anything from India because though we are so good in technology, but when it comes to enterprising, we still lack. So hopefully somebody of you would do that. It'll be really good to see. And and this is the second part of it. Now there's a third interesting part of it, which lies somewhere between statistics and analytical models and totally creative ChatGPT generative stuff, which is conversational AI. Not sure if anybody of you would have heard about it, but it's like a mixture of art and science. So science is basically the AI models, and the art part of it is basically generative AI. But the middle part is conversational AI, which mimics like a human. So, like I'll give you a case study. So there was McDonald's wanted to hire quickly because they have these new retail chains being opened across the globe, different parts of the country, and they wanted to expand their hiring and quick hiring basically, fast speed to hire. And what they did was they used this tool called paradox.ai. So, which is basically conversational AI robot. It mimics like a real person. So, if you actually go and text that I want to apply for this role at McDonald's, it will respond and you will not realize that it's actually a robot or a chatbot. You will feel like you're talking to a real recruiter. And the advantage of this is that it will also remember of the context. right now, if you use ChatGPT, it'll forget that you were Mehak yesterday, whom I talked about XYZ things. It'll just give you the answer and then it'll forget you. But conversational AI remembers every context of the discussion which has taken place. So you will actually get that human touch in hiring as well. So which is again another thing that is very interesting. Let's see how it pops up going forward. Yeah.
I think that was very interesting insight. And just to wrap it up as a closing note, I think what I'll say is that I think from the discussion, understand that AI has a lot of potential, which I think we have not yet seen and how we can use it. And I think while joining the workforce, guys, I think since all of you guys will be joining as a management trainee role or any of those roles that come across for HR on campus, right? It is always expected of you that you will think of ways how you can use AI, right? Not just in in a whole vision-wise way that in the future that this is what is going to happen, but in a immediate way as well, right? Because not all visions are done on the spot, right? So you have to slowly use these AI technologies in recruitment and in smaller projects and find out ways how you can implement it. And then on the whole structure, you will see that in the next 3-4 years, your organization as a whole, that whole idea is coming into picture, right? There are organizations who started dreaming of these things, and just after 2 years of using that AI, I think as consultants, I think we'll know that these guys just fell down because the data is like all around the place, right? And they are not able to make sense of any historic data. On the other hand, many organizations are still not implemented fully AI, but they have implemented AI in pockets, right? Due to which their structure of data is much, much better in a fluent, and slowly in the next 2 or 3 years, they'll implement it on a bigger scale, right? So that vision is expected that you guys will have the mindset, the agility to actually have that view that if I do this is gonna give this kind of response. And slowly in the bigger picture, we'll have to do that. Guys, we have to see the smaller to the bigger picture, and that is why I think the organizations are again recruiting HRs in mass from these institutes, that they are going to change how we view HR and view talent acquisition at all. Right? Thank you so much, everyone.
We have had an incredible opportunity to explore the role of AI in talent acquisition. AI is transforming recruitment by streamlining processes and enhancing competition analysis. However, challenges remain in training models, ensuring secure audits, and addressing ethical concerns like data usage and bias. As AI continues to shape HR, it's crucial we navigate its complexities thoughtfully. I am confident that everyone present today has greatly benefited from the extensive experience shared by our esteemed guests and the use of real-life examples. Now, I would like to extend a token of appreciation to our panelists.
हाँ 3 डाल दिए
Now, I would like to request the judges to discuss the result for finals and let us know.
So guys, we would like to request you in order to ask some questions regarding anything you would like to our guest. Any questions? Please.
So I have a question related to team building. So how AI can contribute to building more diverse and inclusive teams in all the organizations?
One of the ways is you source from a diverse talent pool. If you source from a diverse pool, definitely you will get candidates who are diverse and a team which is diverse. So how do you get diverse talent pool? You can use stars. So if you see stars, these are people who are from different diversity groups. Say somebody who's left the job and they want to restart their career. These are star talent. Then there are people who probably like, facing some major health issues. They want to come back to the workforce. There are people who, are like from military, but then there are certain set of roles in the organization which demand those diverse set of workforce. So you can, if you basically hire from those talent pools, and how AI can help in this part is basically it can give you those leads that these are the skills which are needed in this role, and then these are the talent pools which might be totally different from what your competition is currently hiring from. But then it can give you leads that yes, these are the talent pools that you can hire from, which have those skills which are matching to the job description or the new hiring that you're going to do. And then based on those AI skill models, so these skill-based organizations that are popping up, a big part of it, a big fuel to that is skill taxonomies. And these skill taxonomies, like if you go and search about Lightcast, it's one of the biggest player in the market which is working on building skill taxonomies which can help hire a diverse set of teams and grow. So yeah.
I think I'll just add on. I think Mehak got a very interesting topic on skill taxonomy. I think last month only I was sitting in a meeting wherein this topic was brought in about like the skill taxonomy and how can we bring in AI, right? And to be honest, most organizations don't have it yet, right? And that is where like we are trying to build these scenarios wherein we are trying to use AI as in part of team bonding, right? So these are smaller projects within the bigger project. Again, as you asked when I'm saying AI in team bonding, etc. That is the main objective. That this is going to happen in 5 years. These smaller projects is what Max said, right? Each project itself will take a lot of time, a lot of brain power because that again goes down. So I think it's interesting. Like it's really interesting to work on this.
So, any more questions? Okay.
Talking about performance management, right? Use of AI. I think performance management AI, like it has been done for like around 2-3 years. I think success factors and all these softwares have been using. Again, it's not a full automated version of AI, right? But the data sets, the biasness that we're seeing, right? All those things, success factors and XYZ other performance management tools that we have, they're already showing it, right? Because the idea was this, that performance management system will start off at the end, it will come to that bell curve, right? Which is still like we have not found a replacement of the bell curve. No matter what organizations tell that we do not put a bell curve, etc. But the end decision at the executive table, I'm honestly telling you, there is a bell curve, right? And AI, what AI helps is this, that understands the person's regular scoring performance. And if you see, just before that, if you see last year, most of the organizations went ahead with a quarterly review system, success factors, work days, all of you, right? You will see that last year there was this whole thing that every quarter the reviews will be done. And in the next organizations also will go, all the big organizations or not, they're having a quarterly based review wherein you put in your targets in the success factor or whatever plan you have. And your manager says how much you have attained and gives remarks XYZ. Now an AI comes into these and they see your gradual growth or problems or whatever you have in across the all quarters. Previously it was just once a year, right? You get bonus, etc. Like based on company policy, it can be once a year or twice a year. But your whole performance of the year is now getting monitored. And this also decreases the biasness that happens, right? Right before the appraisal cycle, you see people getting very happy and like they're talking a lot with the managers and like all the butters come out and oils, everything starts there. And this used to have an effect, right, previously. But now the effect has been really mitigated a lot because now we're looking at the whole year. Now AI is looking at your whatever targets you have set for yourself, whatever targets the manager has set for yourself, what are the, and they are now balancing it against the KPIs that has been defined by the organization. Previously, when humans used to do this, there was a lot of craziness that goes on in a person's head, right? Like lack of better word again. But essentially, you get diverted from the actual scores that you want to get, right? And that is where AI really comes up. And now they give it on a KPI basis. Once that input is given, the AI is now telling me on this KPI, this person is scoring this. And then whatever up to the executive management, whether they want to put a bell curve, whether they want to pay out the pay job. But that initial portion of it, AI has been really helpful. I don't know in the future if AI will be able to do the next part of it also. Right? But for now, I think the initial portion of performance management AI is helpful.
Well, thank you so much, sir, for such an insightful answer. And now, the most awaited time is here. I would be announcing the results. I would request all the judges to please stand up. So, any guesses, guys, for the winners? Any shout outs for your friends? Okay, so the position of second runner-up goes to the team of Mohammed Sinan and Synergia. I will request them to please come up on the stage. There is not more. You want us to certificate? Okay. Now the first runner-up position goes to the team of Shelly and Satya Saran. Any guesses for the winners now? Yeah, you're correct. The winners are Vishwan and Shidit. Heartiest congratulations to the runner-ups and the winners. And I hope all of you enjoyed this new session that Synergia has introduced of salary negotiation challenge. And keep supporting us. And thank you for attending the session and treatment.
Thank you to the patient audience and the participants who helped make this salary negotiation challenge a success. Now I would like to request the guests to head to Sanjeevani for refreshments. This is Team Synergia signing off.
Thank you everyone for being the patient audience. Thank you for having us. And thank you Team Synergia for organizing this. All the best to each one of you. Have a great time in your summers. Use less ChatGPT and Gemini. Do something, make something. And always remember there would be many moments in your life that would pivot it to a very different direction. Don't think of a company or your placement as the very final fate for you. Always look for opportunities in each direction, and there are many that would come your way. All the best to each one of you.
One short note, guys. AI won't be replacing any one of you, but somebody using AI will replace you surely.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for.
You need to get that mic. Where is it?
Hello.
एक सामने मत करो, भेज रही हूँ। क्या हो गया?